Welcome to Ask Earl Anything. This is the show where your questions make the show. Without your questions, we don't have a show. This week's show is a couple weeks from the last show. I had a death in the family last week in New Jersey. We had to go to New Jersey for a funeral. So it was a kind of a different week last week. I didn't have a lot of space and time. Even though you saw some drum covers came out, they were the ones I banked. I've also been trying to wait till I hit 2,000 subscribers, and I'm at 1996 today. I imagine I'll get to 2,000 sometime next week. Who knows? I'm not going to hold up the show another day. This is Saturday. This is the weekend. To wait for that monumental 2,000 thing, because 2,000 really doesn't mean all that much, to be honest. 1,000 meant I got to monetize, and YouTube looked at me as a real channel. So once you hit 1,000 and 4,000 viewing hours, it means something. But prior to that monumental 1,000 subscriber leap that I did last year, this last year, it's been a whole full year, I've gained another 1,000 subs. So in actuality, it's been that kind of a year. I've been picking up subs and people have been watching, and thank you to those who subscribe to my channel. But subscribers is not why I do this channel. I love this show and I love this format, and I love being able to share my drum knowledge with you guys. My drum knowledge goes back to when I was a kid reading lots of Modern Drummer. I've told that story many times. I've actually got 40-something years of Modern Drummer in this Modern Drummer magazine and other drum magazines in this studio. So that's where I gained a lot of knowledge. Also, for the last 20 years I've had a recording studio, and prior to having a recording studio I did a lot of reading on recording and gear and how to set up a recording studio and all that stuff. So I've got a lot of recording gear. So I've never stopped having a musical career my whole time, from the time I went to college and studied music in college, through getting married and having 3 kids, and I've always played music. So music's been a part of my life the last 40-something years. Matter of fact, this drum kit now is officially 40-something years. We're in a Florida thunderstorm, in case you're wondering. So I could lose power and I can lose lights and stuff, but camera's on battery, so it might not matter. But this drum kit's 40-something years old. Bought this kit in 1979. So I've been playing a long time. A lot of knowledge, and I love sharing what I know about drumming in the drumming world with the community, and that's what this show's about. A couple other things on the topic of drum covers. I've been able to put out lots of drum covers because I have a quick method of making drum covers. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to drum covers. I will put stuff out when I feel I've hit the point where I've played it as well as I want to play it, and then I'll stop. And if I don't play it as well as I want to play it, I may can it, or it may sit on the shelf a long time. And some of my videos that have been coming out lately have been older videos, been sitting around for a long time. Others have been some classic videos. Some I've done a couple reissues because people never saw them, because I posted them on YouTube when I had no subscribers, like 10 subscribers. The classic 2012 videos playing the Peter Erskine jazz stuff, that was from then. I found it, and I even have a couple hits on a couple of those videos, but they're so buried no one will ever find them. So I've got over 450 videos right now, and I keep making videos. But my process for making a drum cover is rather simple. I was watching a video from somebody this week on how to make a drum cover, and they were talking about, well, you gotta have your cameras, and you gotta have this, you gotta have that, gotta have this. And the one thing the guy left out, which hit me, was you need to have some talent to do this, okay? I realize there's a lot of guys don't have a large degree of talent, but if you don't have some musical talent, I don't know why you get people to watch you. I don't, but people do. So I thought talent's important, and one of my talents is learning songs quickly, and I've always had to do that for all the gigs I've played. So my routine for making a drum cover is running 2 cameras, sometimes 3, sometimes only 1, depending on how I'm feeling, setting up some lights to get the room lighted. I don't do a great job of that, but I have some fun with that. But my big thing is I set up my recording program and I sit down and play, and I start it with my iPad and I play. And I play and I play, and I actually learn the song I want to do right there. And a lot of my covers are songs that I know, like I've heard forever. So like when I did the Elton John Kiki D song, I just played it from what I remembered. When I played Heart's Barracuda a week ago, I played from what I remembered. I didn't sit there and listen to the song over and over again to learn it. I basically remembered certain things and went to it. And that's what I would do when I did these covers. So I actually practice play. I practice it and play it until I feel comfortable getting a take. And once I feel the take's kind of in the pocket, I let go of it and I release it. Or I stick it in my private folder until I'm ready to release the videos. That's what happens. So that's my process for making videos, and that's the reason why I've been able to make so many videos, and that's the reason why I keep churning stuff out. Now, a couple real interesting things in the last month that I noticed. I did a video of Play That Funky Music that was part of a big band compilation book that I have volume 1 and volume 2 of. I think it's called Sitting In With the Big Band. And it's a really straight, it's almost like a marching band arrangement of this song, you know, playing a rock tune. Play that funky music. Very, very white boy, you know. And that's part of the song, right? White boy's part of the song. But I can play a lot funkier than that song. The weirdest thing happened. It was in a week I was just dumping videos. I dumped 5 videos in like 5 days. And that hit the 5th day. And that video got like 700 hits on it. And I was like, are you kidding me? For Play That Funky Music? Somebody watched that. I had 700 views on that video. That just cracked me up. Well, the following week I did the same thing. This was when I was away for a week in New Jersey. And I released an old video I had made of Make Me Smile. And it was actually the video that made me pick which take I ended up putting out a year ago. So it had 2 takes on it. I released that one. That went to 1,000 hits. Now, my videos don't get 1,000 hits. My videos get, I don't know, somewhere between less than 100 to 200 in the first week or so. That's usually it. And then it creeps and grows, and if it's a famous song that somebody wants to look at, it'll start getting up there and people may see it. But in actuality, most of my videos are under 1,000 hits, 1,000 views after even a year of being here. You know, I have a couple that have really pushed my channel, but to be honest, I don't get over 1,000 that often, or it takes a long time to get there. So having those 2 hits has kind of maybe inspired me to try to do more videos quickly. But this week it didn't work. I tried the same thing this week, pushing some videos out, and it didn't really push anything. So I'm really finding that YouTube is just, I do this for me or I don't do it at all. And that's what I'm doing. So today I made a cover of a Boston song called Hitch a Ride that I have 2 versions of. I actually could add 5 versions of this song. I played it. I think I was just digging playing it and remembering it from when I was a kid, that I just kept playing it over and over again, trying to get it better, you know? Well, the last take of it wasn't the best take. It was the second to last take was the best take. But I had a take that was like way early, where I did some crazy stuff and I was just playing really hard. That's an alt take that I'm going to release one day because I had so much fun playing this, and you can just see my aggression. And see, for me, making a drum cover, it's about what am I presenting to you guys? Am I presenting a full musical idea and you guys are seeing my passion in it? Because that's a great track. The best recorded tracks I have of myself playing on people's albums have been me when I'm in that zone and there's that passion in it. So for me, music's about that. And when I see Lifeless just playing the drum parts, that doesn't do anything for me. But when I see the person's personality come out, that's what really turns me on. So that's why I do YouTube. I do YouTube to reach you guys who love my stuff. I try to put my passion out before you guys. And I have such a great time with this show, I decided to do this show. So anyhow. Now, my first question is going to come from Steve Delamar. and there's going to be a little difference in this one. I actually cut a little video about how to use the SPDX to answer this question. So I don't have the SPDX here. Doing it in real time is not going to work. But I actually made a little video. So Steve, here's the question. Hey Earl, I think you may have covered this in another video. If so, help me find it. And if not, any chance you can demonstrate how to build a click track in the SPDSx. So, I may put the video over this, so I'm going to kind of try to bring you through the process. The way you build the click track is first, what you do is you basically take one of your pad assignments, okay? You take your pad assignment and you say, this pad assignment, I'm going to give it a tempo. So, I used number, I think, 83, and I called it I Exalt, okay? And it was called I Will Exalt. I just rechanged the name. I couldn't think of anything better. And I actually, its starting tempo was 146, and I dropped it to 144, just to show you how to drop the tempo using the buttons on the pad. So you'll see that in the video. But the key thing is, what you can do with that setting for number 83 is, it's not just the tempo. You can assign each pad a sound or a loop, or you can run a track off of the pad. I mean, I've done all kinds of stuff in SPDSx. I was running a whole Shania Twain show off in SPDSx. Okay, I was working with the Shania Twain cover band. We were doing Shania like a tribute band. I never played a gig with her, but I rehearsed it for 2 months and never got to play the gig. But I had the whole thing set up on the SPDX, and I was just going to do each tune coming off a separate pad. So it was Shania set 1, Shania set 2, kind of thing. It was interesting, and you can use it that way. And what I did was I assigned each one of those songs had tempos in them, but it wasn't assigning the tempo function in the SPDSx. So back to the SPDSx. Once you take your pad assignment and you assign it a tempo, then you name it whatever you want to name it. And then where it gets really fun is you go into this thing where you set up a set list. And the set list is going to be the different pad setups you used. So I actually have a set list from a church, one of the churches I was playing at where I last used it. And I could basically set 1 to 15, 20 songs. I know, I don't even never used more than 5 or 6. Actually, I think I did in a couple nights of worship with it where I had like 10 or 12 songs maybe in it. But basically the way I had it set up was I had a start pad at the top, I had an off pad, okay, and then I had forward the program. So once you set up your set list, you started at number 1, you hit the button, boom, was one of the top pads, I'd hit that start, it would play. Now I'm playing, we get to the end of the song, we're cymbaling out, and what I would do is I hit the change program to the next one and move to the next program. So I didn't even have to touch buttons. But if you want to touch buttons, I'm going to show you in the video where you can touch the buttons. It's the plus or minus button, and you can go backwards or forwards. And once you turn on the set list, it works that way. And it's very simple. So I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this in over top of what I just said, Steve, but you will see a little bit of me demonstrating how to do this process. So SPDSx is a powerful tool, and it's one that I really enjoy and I don't use enough, to be honest. So, all right. So this is for Steve Delamar. How do I build a click track? Well, first off, from what I remember, is you could pick kits. So like I have pick kits. Now you're not hearing any sounds because I'm not plugged in, to be honest. But I have all these different kits that I've already created. And basically when I created a kit, it had a specific tempo. So this is a song called I Will Exalt. And apparently the click was 148, which is probably the 8th notes. 148 would represent 74. For a quarter note is 74, 8th note is 148. Dot, 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 dot. And let's go menu, kit, enter. And see in this menu kit enter section, you can put volume and you put kit tempo. So basically what I would do is pick the tempo. I can change the tempo, of course. Okay, let's go down 1. I can change the tempo to something else. That's if you want to go tenths. And if you want to go this way, you can basically hit shift this and it go down by 1. So you got to shift and down. So now the tempo is 144. Okay, and then I hit enter, or I just hit, actually it hit menu and out. Now I've just changed the kit tempo. Let's go back to kit. Now it's 144. So what I would do is set the tempo up. Now to name this kit, that's a little different. Naming the kit, go to quick. And here it says kit chain, master, kit name. Kit name is where you want to name it. So you go kit, enter it in, and then you can change the name. So you can call, that's it. And once you're done, you hit quick again or enter and hit I exalt. So now kit number 83 is I exalt. It's 144 is the tempo on it. Now, the way I would use it in a service, this is where you go to quick again. Quick, it's called kit chain. So you go to kit chain, enter, and this shows you a set I had set up. We were doing Be Strong, Alive, Holy Spirit, Oceans, and Place Free. And basically, the way I had this set up, let's pop to 83, and we'll put I exalt in just for the heck of it. So now I exalt's in the set. Hit exit, it's in the set. So here's how I would use it. Kit chain, enter. That's it. Now I have to set it on. Kit chain is off. So I go up to the top, up here, kit chain, turn it on. Okay, enter. Quick. Oh no, enter, exit that. Now it's in, and now when I hit this, it just goes to my settings. Now I also had this set up this way too. This is another thing I did. Let's stop the sounds off. You see the tempo going? So let's go back to the beginning. Oceans is the first song. So let's say, let's see. I think I got rid of this. But I used to have it set up where I would set these pads to be start and stop and kit change. So the way you change is just changing like this. But you can actually assign a pad to be your change to the next tempo. And that's what I would basically do. I'd start with like the song, first song, playing it, then I would come over here and this would change it to the next one. But I just changed these pads to not doing that right now. That's a whole nother thing you can do with it. Anyhow, that's kind of how I used it. And as you can see, I've got a ton of kits set up from the last church I was doing this at. I haven't used this for years, though. It's been years since I've had to do it. Let me get out of that kit chain thing. When you want to get out of it, you just go back to quick, kit chain, enter, turn it off. Once I turn it off, now it goes back to just all the settings. So anyhow, I hope that helps. The second question comes from my friend Matthew. Oh gosh, Matthew Jackson. Sorry about that, Matthew. I kind of did a brain fart. I'm looking at Matthew. Actually, he Facebook messengered me this question. He said, "Do you have any information or informed opinion on Orion Cymbals?" And as an amendment, he said, "Orion also makes drum heads. Any opinion on that as well?" All right. Here's my research on Orion. And I've seen a couple of these cymbals in music stores around here. I don't know where they come from. I guess they come from Brazil. They're South American made. I'm not so sure they're made in South America either, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if they're made in Taiwan. The knockoffs, the same people that make some of the cheap cymbals for Pearl and others. Okay, it could even be a Meinl or Peisty making these brass-looking cymbals. Some of them. From what I've heard, none of them really sound all that good to me, from what I've heard. Maybe they've got a high end. They're just another cymbal knockoff company. But I think that they're from being in Brazil and a distributor in Brazil of these cymbals makes them probably a price that people down in South America can afford. So, but truthfully, I guess I'm a cymbal snob. Once you've played top of the line Peisty, top of the line Zildjian, top of the line Meinl, top of the line Sabian, you're playing world-class cymbals, okay? So it's very hard to go to something that's not world-class. There was nothing on the Orion Cymbals page or anything I saw on YouTube that sounded world-class to me. So that's just my opinion. But I don't own any, and I probably never will. As far as drum heads, I can't imagine they're not being made in some factory in Taiwan that makes them for Remo or something. Because drum heads are drum heads. There's only a few companies that really make them. And Remo's got a factory in Taiwan that makes the B heads that you find on a lot of the B drum kits, but by a lot of the drum manufacturers. And I would not be surprised if that's basically what you're getting, a Taiwan-made drum head with that's stamped Orion on it. So it could be a less than Remo American drum head. Again, American-made drum heads. They're the first drum heads, and they're world class. You know, whenever I get something that says Remo Taiwan, I take the head off. And I put on a Remo USA or an Evans USA head. So I have not really found a head that really fits that, you know, that beats that. So that's my opinion on that, Matthew. But thanks for the question. It was a great question. All right. My next question comes from a guy named Jason Floyd. And Jason Floyd says, what are your thoughts on Vistalite drums? Well, first off, Jason, I've had a few Vistalite kits. My first drum kit prior to this drum kit was a blue Vistalite kit with an 8, a 5.5 by 8, a 6.5 by 10. These are the correct sizes. I've said them wrong in other videos. So it's 8, 10, 8 by 12, 9 by 13, 16 by 16, 14 by 22, and a 5 by 14 snare. And that was my first drum kit. I loved it. I loved the kit. I loved the look of it. It just wasn't versatile for playing everything. It was good at playing certain rock things. It was great for the 70s, and it looked cool on a stage, and it was a good rock band type thing. And that's why Bonham played an amber kit, because it looked cool. A lot of drummers were playing those Vistalite kits because they look good. They don't sound as good as they look, believe it or not. So I had a second kit in the 90s, a green Vistalite kit that I picked up because I sold the blue kit. After I bought this kit, I sold the blue kit. And the green kit was big beat sizes, 8 by 12, 9 by 13, 16 by 16, 5 by 14 snare, 14 by 22 kick, no concert toms. And I played that for about 10 years. I had it until I sold that for some mic preamps for my studio, to be honest. In 2007 or 8 it was when I sold it. Loved the kit. Sounded best with Evans hydraulic heads. You know, they had that kind of deep thud, and that's what they were good for. Didn't make any videos with the Vistalite kits because I sold it before I started making videos, before I had a camera to make videos, so unfortunately. But I still love Vistalite kits. I don't follow them as much, and truthfully, if you're looking at a Vistalite kit today, it's probably made by RCI Vistalite shells. RCI was making knockoffs in the 90s of Vistalite shells because Ludwig wasn't making them again. And then I think Ludwig started making them again. I think RCI started making their shells for them. Then RCI was making shells for the Fibes drum company for a while. If you can find some old Fibes drums, they're a thicker shell than the Ludwig ones back in the day. Not the new. I don't know what the new ones are. I haven't played the new ones. But the 70s version of Vistalites were a little bit thinner, and they were very susceptible to hot and cold, and they cracked. And you had to be very careful how you tighten down your lugs. A lot of things could crack those shells. So they were very fragile. But other companies make clear drums. Tama makes a clear drum. Pearl makes clear drums. DW's got RCI making shells for them so they can make some clear drums. The acrylic drums are still around. You can still find them. And I think they're made at a higher quality today than they were back in the 70s, but I had two 70s kits, so I can tell you they're a very interesting breed. And definitely if you're into that look and you get an opportunity to get a kit, get one. I just wouldn't spend $3-4 grand for one, that's all. Both of my kits were cheap. Well, cheap by today's standards. my first kit, the blue Vistalite kit, my grandmother bought me, my nan. I was 15 years old, and she bought it at Blue Note Music. She got the 40 off on the kit, and then they sold her all the other stuff at full price. Because I got a price list one day. One day I had the Ludwig Vistalite. I had the Ludwig 1975 catalog. I still have the Ludwig 1975 catalog with the Vistalites in it. I had a couple of those, and I got the price list for it, and we were getting 40 off on the drum kit. That's what they were selling it. Now they were selling it with the flat bass stands. I had a whole set of flat bass stands, but instead of the Atlas stands, which eventually I wanted Atlas stands, I wanted the heavy duty hardware. It's funny, I've come full circle that now my gigging kit has got flat bass stands again, and I love it. I love flat bass stands. And by the way, the Tama flat bass classic hardware is great. But I have a couple Ludwig pieces I bring out with me too, and they work just as well, just so you know. But yeah, the 70s Vistalites had a certain charm to them, you know. But I spent, my grandmother bought me that whole kit with cases and cymbals for under $1,000. And I bought my green Vistalite kit for $400 with cymbals and pedals and hardware. That was a steal. That's a whole story steal. I mean, I bought that in '97 in Sharon, Pennsylvania, at a little music store called King's Music. And I walked in the day they put it on the floor. They had a CP, a Cosmic Percussion kit, and they had this Vistalite kit. And I looked at it, I said, and what's the tag price say? $399. I was like, $399 for this? Yeah, the guy just brought it in. He was up in his attic for 25 years, and he just wants to get rid of it. It's a consignment piece. Okay, I talked to the wife, went outside, found the wife. We bought the kit, picked it up on the way out the door on a Monday. We were leaving on a Monday from Sharon, Pennsylvania. Went to the store at 10 a.m., put the kids up in the minivan, and shoved the drums in. That was a great day. I brought them home. Wonderful day. So, Vistalites are very cool drums. All right. I've got 2 questions from Michael Perry. Okay? So, the first question is, and it just came in today before I did this show, he was commenting on the Earth, Wind, and Fire song I did today, September. And he said, this song is suited for your playing style. Great job. For Ask Earl Anything, can you explain the difference between time signatures and tempo? Thanks. That's the first question. All right. And first off, let me make a comment about this. Anything 70s, anything R&B, funk related, pocket drumming is my wheelhouse. Just as much as playing big band jazz stuff is. You guys think I'm a jazz drummer, okay? So, you think I play that? I really play the rock stuff in that era. That's my thing. And playing that song was not very hard. It took me about 7-8 takes tops, and I just knocked it out. And I had fun playing on my concert tom kit, my Pearl kit. So let's talk about time signature. Tempo has to do with beats per minute. Okay, that's what tempo has to do with. Now, tempo is a factor in a time signature. When we talk about beats per minute, okay, and we're talking about tempo, we're talking about what the speed of the song is. So, if you're looking at your second hand on a watch, it's 60 seconds, so that's 60 beats make up a minute. Marching time is 120 beats per minute. So if you're looking at your second hand, it's going tick, 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 tick. The 8th note is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and that's 120 beats per minute. You're doubling it. Okay, I'm assuming I'm at about 60, somewhere in that ballpark. Time signature has to do with what's written on the page. The most common time signature is what they call 4/4. And what 4/4 means is 4 beats to a bar of music. 4 beats to a bar of music. And the quarter note gets 1 beat. Now, it has nothing to do with the tempo, but if they mark on the music quarter note equals 120, then this is what 4/4 sounds like. 4/4 is 4 beats to the bar, quarter note gets 1 beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4/4. That was 4 beats to that measure at 120 beats per minute. Quarter note gets 1 beat. So, what does that mean when you're reading music and it's got eighth notes in it? Eighth notes are twice as fast as quarter notes. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you're doubling up the speed. That's the eighth note. Quarter note gets the beat. Eighth notes, there's 2 eighth notes to the quarter note. 16 notes are 4 16th notes to the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4/4. Now, here's where time signatures come in. Makes sense. 3/4. 3/4 is 3 beats to the measure. Quarter note gets 1 beat. So this is 3/4. That's 3/4. 1, 2, 3. 4/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I'm playing 4/4, traditionally what you'll have in a 4/4 beat is a 2 and 4 for a rock beat, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, and we'll use eighth notes on the hi-hat, and this is a 4/4 beat. Now, 3/4 is what they call waltz, and waltz is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's use the same 1, 2, 3, 4. Gets the beat, 3 beats to the bar. Okay? So if I have something written out that says 3/4 to 4/4, it would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, that's a way of playing 7/4. So if it's 7/4 on the time signature, there's 7 beats to the bar. Quarter note gets 1 beat. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 7/4. What if it's 6/8? It's another common time signature. Well, 6/8 means there's 6 beats to the bar, and the eighth note gets the beat. Okay? So this is the count of the eighth note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those were bars of 6. Okay? Which brings me to the next part of this. Okay? The key is to understand what kind of a phrasing it is that makes up those bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are you got a quarter note kind of feel? Because you can make a 6/8 sound like a 4/4. Okay. The only difference is how it's written. You can write 4/4 with triplets at that same speed where the quarter note's getting the beat. Okay? But as long as the quarter note's getting the beat, it's the same speed, then you can come into an eighth note section where it doubles, it metrically modulates. And this is where reading music becomes a big deal, because that's what helps you to understand metric modulation, which is crossing those different time signatures together. All right? So time signatures really come in when you're reading music. Now, for me, when I'm hearing phrasing, I'm hearing 4s and 5s and 6, and 7, and it's knowing what the song does to kind of catch those punches. Sometimes it'll feel like it's a 7, it's a bar of 7, but it's really just a bar of 4/4, but the accents lay, and there's a 7 lay. It lays in on a 7, So it's all about how it's written. So time signatures have to do with telling you what the music's saying. Tempo has to do with what you're picking beats per minute wise. Sometimes they marry on a piece of paper, called a piece of sheet music. So when I'm reading a swing chart, it's written out in a way that I understand that the tempo is going to be this, and it's going to be written in such a way so I understand if it's swung notes or not swung notes, and that's a whole nother aspect of reading. But that's your basic time signature. 4/4 is 4 beats to the bar, quarter note gets 1 beat. 4/8 would be 4 beats to the bar, but the eighth note gets 1 beat. I just blew your mind. You can also have 4/16, 4 beats to the bar, but the 16th note gets 1 beat. And you have to look at it written on a piece of paper to make any sense. So, anyhow, I hope that helps. If it doesn't, Michael, give me a call someday. That's what we should do. We should talk. Maybe I can help you out that way. All right, and the last question comes from Michael Perry. This was 2 weeks ago. Man, that ride cymbal's a monster. This, I think, was... I'm not sure which cover this is. It's on one of those... It might have been Barracuda. Takes up half the view, laugh out loud. I had the 24-inch giant beat up that day. ASA. I get if you meant AES. Or ask. Anyhow. I know drumming is a major part of your life. Do you have any other hobbies or things you have a passion for that you could share? Thanks. So the last question is, do I have any hobbies or anything else that I can share about that I call a passion for my life? And I would say, yeah, of course I do. I have a passion for my family. I have a passion for my wife. I have a passion for the church and seeing people come to know God in a deeper way. I have a huge passion for these things in life. I see some things a little differently than maybe some, but not that much. And I don't really want to talk about my faith too deeply, but a lot of the songs I play talk about my faith when I do Christian songs especially. I have a passion for people, being with people. That's one of my big passions in life. My wife and I love being with people and sharing life with people. So those are huge passions for me. I mean, do I have a passion for football? No, not particularly. Do I like ice hockey and a passion for it? Well, when I was a kid, I loved ice hockey, but it's not something. Do I have a Harley? No, I don't have a Harley. Not my passion. I have a passion for safety. That's part of my day job. I love helping people see a safer way to do something. But I really have a passion for seeing people and loving people. That's what I have a passion for. Pouring into people and loving people. That's my main passion in life. And that goes to my kids, my grandkids, extended family, church family, friends. I love music, so music's always a part of it. It's a big, huge part of my life is music. But it's music around friends, around people, So, yeah, that's my passion. But truthfully, I don't have those hobbies that, like, I'm not a golfer, but I can golf. I don't know. By the way, drums takes up a lot of dough, so truthfully, I'd rather pour my money into drumming because I love drumming. So drumming and music is a passion of mine for sure. But people are a bigger passion for me. And that's why, if any of you guys have a question, I'm relational. I think this is what translates to this show, by the way, is the fact that when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to you. I'm looking you in the eye. It's like we're having a conversation. If you came over my house and hung out with me, this is how I would be, just like I am on camera with you. I would tell you about my drums. I would tell you about what my passion is. I would talk to you about personal things, and we can get into deeper personal things. And once I get to know you, I will share from my depth of what I'm about. Just sharing who I am outside of it is not like, I don't normally do that, but we're all dealing with stuff inside of us. I will tell you, one of the biggest revelations in my life in the last couple of years is my need to not offend people, you know, because sometimes when we take a stand on something, we can become offensive. And I don't want to be an offensive person. I want to be a person that brings people to a place of peace, togetherness. Even if I don't agree with everything about your political view or everything about your spiritual view, I can have a conversation with you and we can share life together. And we can share the heart of that matter. And in the end, what we take is what we do here. That's what we take with us, as far as I'm concerned. You know, the Beatles kind of were like coming from like a Hindu Zen thing, that they were into. But when you hear that song, and in the end, the love you take is the love you make. There's a lot of truth in that song. Okay, the truth is how we treat people here is part of our happiness in life here. And if we don't treat people in a nice way, then guess what? We're not really, I don't think we're as happy in life, And I've learned that I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody anymore. It's like, some people love what I do and some people hate what I do. It's okay. Hey man, if you hate what I do, that's okay. I'm not a threat to you. And if you feel like I'm a threat, you're not going to be there anyhow. I get it, I'm here to share who I am with people. And if you receive me, great. And to quote the words of Jesus, Jesus said to his disciples, go out into the towns, the highways, and the byways, and share the gospel. The gospel is his love. The gospel is acted out in, if they're naked, you clothe them. If they're hungry, you feed them. If they're thirsty, you give them something to drink. That's the gospel, okay? By the way, that's the gospel. For all you Christians who don't get that piece of it, it's the gospel. So that's part of it. It's pouring into people. That's what Jesus called us to do. But if you reach somebody and they don't receive you, what did he say to his disciples? Shake off the dust off your sandals and move to the next one. So I have time for people that want time with me, and I share my life with people who want to hear my life. And I love sharing my drumming, and I love sharing my gifts with people, and I love sharing my studio with people and working with people on projects, and I love the creative process. And I love my family, and I believe that's what I take with me in the end. In the end, what made Earl was how he poured out his love, which is Christ's love in me, to others. That's how I look at it. So that's my passion, Michael. People, loving people. Okay? Anyhow, that's Ask Earl Anything for this week. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you all being here. And you know what? Hope you're here. I hope I'm still doing this a year from now. So I have a lot of fun with this show. So your questions make the show. I don't have questions, I don't have a show. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.